Dunedin environmental lawyer Maree Baker-Galloway is chairwoman of a new group set up to consider how to protect the southern coastline. Conservation Minister Dr. Nick Smith announced recently the appointment of a 14-member Otago Marine Protection Planning Forum to do the work. Maree joins us to explain what it all means. Good evening.
Hello.
Tell us a little bit about the initiative and its background.
Well, it's a part of a national strategy that's been going on since about 2005 to establish a representative network around the whole country of marine protected areas. Its main objective is to protect biodiversity values, so it looks primarily at protection mechanisms, and there's a whole range of those. And it's also got a really big focus on community input, which is why the forum's been established with a group of community representatives to take it forward. What are
the issues facing the coastline?
Well, that's something I'm going to learn about over the next 2 years. It's a really long stretch of coast. It's from Timaru all the way to Papa Point, which is in Southland, right at the edge of the Catlins. So it's not just Otago. It's a long stretch of the South Island's coast, and I think there'll be a range of issues. I don't want to second guess what any of them are. I think that'll become pretty apparent though as we start talking to people and reading all the reports.
What mechanisms could be used to establish a protected area, do you think?
There's a whole toolbox that we can use, starting at marine reserves right at the top, but there's also the Resource Management Act, there's the Fisheries Act, we can use that. There's marine mammal sanctuaries, there's wildlife refuges, so there's a whole sort of suite of different legal tools that we can use depending on what needs to be protected and what other values there are in the area that we need to take account of.
And Otago is the only region in New Zealand that doesn't have a marine reserve. How do the reserves work in other areas?
That's right, we don't have one. I think there's over 30 around the country, and all marine reserves set a very high bar of protection. You can't take any fish or harvest any shellfish or take any plants or anything. They really are to be free of sort of human interference, if you like. But a lot of those other tools I talked about have a lesser level of protection, so some of those might be appropriate for Otago as well.
Now, what's the time frame for the work?
We've got to report to the ministers by mid-2016, and that'll be quite a tight time frame because there's a lot of information and a lot of talking that has to be done. And I think there'll be formal submission process 2015, but before that there'll be lots of talking to communities in the next few months in early 2015.
What's the best that we can hope for from the forum's work?
Well, I think it'll be a big achievement if the 14 forum members reach a consensus, because that's be quite challenging, and that's what other forum have experienced. But the best outcome will be something that the community accepts, that's based on lots of good science and lots of involvement, and that can be supported by the communities that it affects.
Maree Baker-Galloway, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.
After the break,